Hello, welcome to ZIM Capture. I'm inventor Dan Zinn, and ZIM at zimjs.com is an open source framework to make interactive media on the HTML canvas using JavaScript and Create.js. In this capture, we're going to take a look at how we can customize a button. All right, let's have a look at some code. We're in a ZIM frame template. Now we've added a couple links to Pizzazz up here, so that's the same place as ZIM, but then it's Pizzazz _01 and Pizzazz _02. Now there's a ZIM bits on Pizzazz and also a blog post on our news section, or in our news section. So we're going to use some Pizzazz to make a backing for our button and also to make an icon for our button. But first, let's just check out a button. So var button equals a new zim.button. Button. Oh, I'm just raring to go here. A button, and that's a default button, and we'll center it on the stage. So button.center. Why do I always do a capital S? I don't know. It must be coming from that bracket. Button.center on the stage, and let's take a look. There's an old default button. Okay, and we can change this button, what it says, for instance, by accessing the label property, and we can say hello. Oh, that's as a string. Hello, like so. So we save that, and now its label says hello. Okay, we can change a bunch of things about a button. Why don't we see what we can change? So we'll open up the documentation here. Ooh, pizzazz. That's an awfully big looking screen there. Something like that maybe. And we'll go into the docs and type button, like so. Enter. And here are the many parameters of a button. We can copy those and we'll paste them into here like so. Paste. So many that why don't we drop them onto a few different lines here. Border thickness, corner, gradient, gloss, flat bottom, blah, 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 roll backing, persistent, toggle. And comment those out as well. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. So we've got a width, a height, a label, and we just did the label. We've dropped to the ZIM Duo technique because we're going to look at all sorts of these as we go. Of a single configuration object here. So we just did the label, hello. If we merely wanted to say hello, we could pass in size, and hello, just as single parameters, or like as parameters each. But here we're going to the ZIM Duo technique. So label, hello. We can change the color, the roll color, the border color, border thickness, the corner of it, shadow color, etc. So I might want to do the corner. This is actually why I made the ZIM Duo technique of passing in a configuration object. I was so tired of changing the corner of my button to 0 by passing in all these nulls in front of it that I didn't want to change. So I said, there must be a better way. So corner : 0, and we refresh here. And now our button has a corner of 0. Let's change the size of it and see what happens. So that is a width. How about 500? And a height of, say, 300. Oops, semicolon, a comma. And we save that up. Does the font change with it? Well, that would be no. Well, it looks vaguely like what we would put on our chest. Hello, my name is Dan Zinn. So, yeah, so how do we change that? How do we even change the color? Well, we seem to have here is a label, and that's it. The color, what does that do? Color probably changes the color of the button. Color : frame dot pink. Change color of the button. Yeah. What about the roll color, since we're doing it? There's the roll color, comma, roll color, frame dot blue. Now what do we got? Okay. So super, but I don't see anything about the label, like how we change that. And that is because we can pass in a string, but we can also pass in a ZIM Label object. Now, the reason we did that is there's so many parameters for a label and properties of label that to mix them all in here, there's the label color, the label roll color, the font size, and the blah, 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 the font. To mix them all in here would have been just way too much. So up here, we say var label is, and also a label is handy on its own. So we're making use of the fact that we'll need a label anyway. A new ZIM.label. And in here, we might have parameters for the label. So let's go take a look at what those are. And it's just up above the button here. There they are. Right here. Almost got them. Click. And back here, we shall paste them in here. Oops, not in there. Paste them in here. We'll do the same thing where we break them onto multiple lines. That will probably do it. So text, size, font, color. So the text of the label, we can say goodbye. That would be as a string though. Goodbye. We'll just do something different. And the size, should we try like 80 or something like that? Comma. The font, the color, we'll just leave it as default for now and see what that brings us. So we've got goodbye, we're making it bigger. And instead of saying hello there, we're going to say label. Well, maybe we'll still say hello. Whatever, we'll say goodbye just so you can see that that is different. And what did yeah, there we go. So we save that, refresh. We don't. Ooh, a big goodbye in black. Okay, not bad, but how about we change that back to white? So the default color seems to be black for a label. So that would be color : white. We're bringing it back to white. The font, by the way, is we can say which font family to use. Any CSS properties of font too, well, not any, but many can go in there, and we have font options as well that we can add. So have a look at the documentation to see how to handle that. We'll just keep the default font for now here. You can also bring in custom fonts. All right, so what do I want to do there? How about 550, just make that a little bit wider. And that will fit our goodbye. Let's see if it's white. There it is, a white goodbye. And what else can we do? What do we know how to click on a button? Button dot on. Click like so, and we'll call a function. And inside this function, we can do something. We could say, let's animate the button in and out. So that would look like button.animate. And around brackets, we'll go to the ZIM Duo configuration object. And the first thing is an animation object. And we'll do the alpha, I guess. Alpha, bringing it to 0. The time will be 500 milliseconds, and we'll do a rewind on it, :true, so it comes back. Why not? There we go. So that's what we're doing when, oh, for Pete's sake, what the heck did I just do? That's what we're doing when we click on the button. Save that and refresh. And we click. Hello. Oh, actually would like it to say hello. How about you? So we can make it so that when we click on the button, when it gets to that rewind, we're going to swap the label. Okay, so let's see how we can dynamically swap a label. stack these. True, comma. Now that would be a rewind call. Excuse me. Ah, it's still there. Rewind call. All right, and we call a function. And we can change the label. So button.text is equal to, how about hello? Big long help. All right. So as soon as we rewind, when it gets to 0 and then starts coming back, when it gets to 0, we're going to call this function that will change the text property of the button to hello. And let's see what happens here. We refresh that, we press the button, hello. Now that's almost good, except it's not centered anymore. Now what's happening here is when ZIM adds a label, so if we were to add just the, in a button like this, if we say goodbye here, goodbye, that is ZIM, the button itself will make a label for itself and put goodbye in it, and it knows how to make that label. There's goodbye. Well, it doesn't know how big to make it though. There's goodbye, and I press, and now hello is centered. So it realizes, hey, I probably should center that label. But when we add in a custom label, when we made our label, we did not center. The default for a label is left aligned, which kind of makes sense. So we want to align the label right here. Align, if we're going to make a custom label and then go change that in a button, we'll want to align it to the center. And that looks like this, center. Okay, so now our custom button is aligned in the center. We're adding it there. It'll be nice and big. We're rewinding, changing it to hello, and that will keep the center alignment. Refresh, nice and big. Press, down it goes, back it comes, nice and big. That should toggle, shouldn't it? So let's just add a little bit to this function here. It won't take long. No. If button.text, so here's how we can find out what the text is equal to good, better spell out capitals, goodbye, like that. Then we'll do this stuff, else we'll do this stuff. And we could do a ternary operator on this as well, might be easier. Now what do we want to do? We want to say hello when it is, otherwise we say goodbye. So if the text is already goodbye, then we change it to hello, else we're going to change it to goodbye. And we save that and refresh. Goodbye, hello, goodbye, hello. Nice. Okay. All right, what else can we do to our button here? Let's take a look. Width, height, label, color, roll color, good. Border color, fine. Border thickness, that's fine. Corner we did. Shadows, okay. Hit padding, we can increase the size of what presses on the button. Ooh, a gradient and a gloss. Should we try gradient and gloss? Here's what a gradient looks like. Gradient. Colon, this is generally a number between 0 and 1, but I find that a light gradient, maybe a 3.3 would be good. That's enough, otherwise you start losing the color a bit. Oh, I did something wrong. Forgot a comma. And how's that for a gradient? And there is a gradient on the button. That's not too bad, depending on what you're wanting to do. 0.2. Let's just see what a 0.2 might be slightly more subtle. Yeah. We got a pretty darn big button. It's almost like a panel. This is a very inviting sight, isn't it? Goodbye. Okay, goodbye. At least it says hello. We might have swapped those two things, huh? What do you think? Should we make it say hello first? And will this still work without any changes? I think it will. So now it says hello, and when we click it, it says goodbye. That's a bit better. Hello. But my button isn't very normal looking. It's a little bit big. How about we go to, say, 120? Well, it'll still be big, but at least it will be a little bit tighter. And we'll bring back the corner as well. We'll make that something like 40, and let's see what that looks like. Get it a bit more buttony like. Oh, yeah, it's a little bit too much there. 120 in the height. Could be maybe 130, and we'll drop this a bit to 510. Oh yes, that's good. What I'd like to do is make a button maker or even a component maker. So I still don't like that width. 480, and this corner. What did it look like? Is it too small now? bring it back to 40. Oh yeah, so decisive here. That's not too bad. Okay, that's coming close anyway. Oh, will it still fit goodbye? Ooh boy. So that's one thing that we'd want to remember. It just fits. But anyway, we'll take a look at it there. That's not bad. What else? Oh yeah, so I wanted to make a component maker, which would allow you to, with sliders and stuff and color pickers, adjust the various components. So that will probably be coming up in the next version, big version of ZIM, ZIM 5, whatever we call that. Gloss. What does gloss look like? Gloss is similar, so we will add some gloss to the button. A gloss of 0.2 as well. Let's comment out the gradient so we can see the gloss alone. Look familiar? That's a little bit much, huh? How about just a gloss of 0.1 and refresh? Maybe if you kind of like that thing. All right, what happens if we both gradient and gloss? I haven't tried this before. So here's gradient and gloss at the same time. Not bad. Hello, and a big goodbye. Okay, so that is that stuff. And what else have we got? Gradient, gloss. Now there is a flat bottom as well, and that would look like this. That was used for tabs, flat bottom. So I'm not sure if you ever make a button on your own, unless you're making your own custom tabs out of buttons, but there's a ZIM tabs, which probably will get you, and we'll set that to true, get you to where you want to go, and refresh, and there's a flat bottom. And now we're to the backing. Oh, by the way, toggle. Right now, we're almost doing, well, we are doing a toggle. We're saying hello, goodbye, but there's an easier way to do a toggle. Now, mind you, it is a toggle without that fine animation that we made. So I'll just get rid of what we were doing in the click. We'll also get rid of the flat bottom, I guess, and we'll just say toggle : true. Now, if you toggle, oh, sorry, not true, toggle, and what we want to toggle. So we can toggle the label. It says hello at the moment, doesn't it? So we would want to say goodbye, like that. And what that will do is it will toggle the label from hello to goodbye without us doing the animation. Hello, goodbye. Nice, huh? Now we can also make an icon on here, and if toggle recognizes that there's an icon on there, it will toggle the icon. When we add an icon, we take away the text. So it can't be text with an icon next to it. It's just like either icon or text, I suppose. Maybe one day we'll do that. But anyway, toggle will then toggle the icon. Okay. So there's toggle. That's fine. We can leave that. Now, what about these things called like the backing? Right here, the backing, the roll backing, the icon, and the roll icon. Let's take a look at those. So to get that to work, we need to introduce, well, it can be any shape or any bitmap or anything that is visible. So we could do frame.load assets and bring in a bitmap, and then we could say backing oh, I can spell it, backing colon, and then we could put something like frame dot asset and whatever the name of that asset was, dot JPEG or something like that. That would add this asset to the backing. Now we also might want to just dot center reg that, center reg. Okay, so you can run a center reg right on the end of that asset call. And what that does is it centers the registration point because the backing will be placed in the center of the button. So you want a centered reg. Okay, same with if you make your own shape. For instance, if, well, we'll just make a ZIM shape for now. That would look like a new ZIM.rectangle like that. And if we made this 200 by 100, and we'll just leave it black. So if we were to do that here, it would look like this. Oopsies. So you see what I mean? It places the backing at the center, and therefore we would want to center the reg of our rectangle and then put it in place. Okay, but we want something special here. We're going to use some shapes that have been made for us in ZIM Pizzazz. And I showed you earlier, right at the very beginning, that we've added ZIM Pizzazz up here. It's at the same place as ZIM. Normally ZIM's there. I'm doing my latest version of ZIM 4.4, doing some testing on that as we go here. But Pizzazz_01 and Pizzazz_02 at the same place that we normally get ZIM from. Like I said, there's a blog post about that, and there's also a ZIM bit on it. So right in here, we can find out, we can make a shape with Pizzazz. So that looks like this, var, call it backing, equals a Pizzazz. So we use the Pizzazz dot make shape, like so. And then in here, we say what kind of shape we're going to make. But how do we know what kinds of shapes? First of all, we could go look at the Pizzazz thing, or the examples, etc., and that's got all the shapes there. But there's also a function that we can call, and that is Pizzazz dot list shapes, like so. Okay, so let's see what that will list for us. And we refresh, and that is an F12 to see that, and there they are: menu, bat, lips, magnet, cloud, circle, etc. How about we do a POW? That sounds kind of fun. POW shaped. So we pass in POW here, POW, like that. And oh, that's listing the shape. Sorry, we don't pass it in there. We list it in down here. We pass it in down there. Blip, 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 blip. Here's my single slash comment I was trying to make there. Ooh, we're doing great. All right, we need a 7-inning stretch on this one. This is a nice long one, huh? We're almost there. We just want to take a look at the backing and then finally the icon. So backing equals a new Pizzazz make shape, or we don't use new, we just call it directly make shape, and that will return a bitmap. Now it returns a bitmap that happens to have a centered reg, so we're good there. And we can just add that backing in here. Backing dot, backing colon, and then we're going to add our backing. All right, you'll also have to forgive me. My cat is scratching at the window behind me and keeps throwing me off. It's probably going to do that for the rest of it. It's just like, oh, for crying out loud, Mala. But I think we'll manage to get through it. All right, so there's us adding that backing that we made with Pizzazz. And we refresh here. There it is. We can give that backing a color. We can also give it a size. So it looks like we're going to need, it's a nice POW, but it looks like we'll need to make that a bit bigger. So let's go back to the here, and the next thing we do is, I think it's the color. If we want to find that out, we can just go to the, I'll copy this. So that's it. We don't really have full documentation on this yet, but there's a great example on it, and in the end, once we make a few more pizzazzes, we'll do it. But you can just drop into the file itself and see what there is. Here's a make shape and type, color, width, and height. Type, color, width, and height. So popping into here, scrolling down, type, color. How about frame.orange, orange, and orange, pal. And width and height. Well, 600, comma, I don't know, 350, something like that. And are you ready? Refresh. Hello, hello, click. Oh, doesn't quite fit the goodbye, so we will open that up a touch. Hello, goodbye. What was that? Maybe 650? Probably will make it well enough. Refresh. Hello, goodbye. Good enough. Hello. Now, there's other backings as well. They're fun to play with. And like I said, you can make your own backings. If you take a look in that file, which was here, you'll see all this weird looking code. Like, just increase this. This one is supposed to look like a menu. I think, not sure what a menu looks like. But anyway, this code right here comes from exporting from Adobe Animate. So Adobe Animate and Create.js have worked it out so that we can export shapes, and it will make this nice tidy little code stored in a P. You'll see it there. And these other ones, there's a bat and lips, so we could put in lips. So you can make your own shapes in Adobe Animate and do something very similar. It's quite easy, and that's the bounding rectangle there. Let's just quickly see what, I like the POW, but we'll pop into a menu here. A menu and tester here, like so. There's the menu shape. Okay, but I have to come back to the POW. What else were we wanting to do? We got that in there. Oh my goodness, they're going crazy. I want to see an icon show up, so let's do an icon. And so the icon is very similar. We added in here with icon. Oh, just before I leave the backing, there's also a role backing. And we want to specify a different backing that we can make. So we'll just copy this line, copy and paste here, and call this backing 23, backing 2. It also will be POW, and instead of orange, we can make it pink or something else. Green, how about green? Okay, and when we scroll down here, we want to call this backing 2. All right, if you were worried about animal cruelty and my cat outside, I just let my cat out about, I don't know, half an hour ago. It's a beautiful day out. This cat does not need to come in. So there's POW, and as I roll over, check it out, it goes to green. All right, now by the way, if you want a rollover color on your text, did we show you that? You would do that right on the label. So up here on the label, there is also a roll color. If you can't see that properly and want to go to black or something like that, we need a comma there. Then we've got a roll color on our label. See, roll color. You can go to the documentation and read about any of that stuff. So now as we roll over, there's the roll color showing as well as the roll backing. Okay, next we want to check out one of these icons. So that's similar. We can make an icon here. Var icon. It's a little bit more crazy. Icon really has some pizzazz. So we use pizzazz again, and we dot make icon. We make icon, and we can also list the icon. So let's do that. List icons. And we'll refresh here. And come to an F12 and see Play, stop, pause, restart, rewind, fast forward, sound, mute, close, settings, menu, maximize, a bunch of arrows, heart, marker. Oh, that's a little bling like you would find on a map. Info, home, edit, magnify. And these are all very, very traditional. I made them. Oh, yes. And you can see a blog post about that, and indeed a ZIM bits where they're all listed out there on the buttons. So let's try, how about a settings icon? Okay, so icon, that's a list. We don't want to put the settings in the list, but rather put the settings here in the make icon. Settings, like so. Now that we've made an icon, we can come down here to our button and go comma, icon, colon, icon. Lovely. And refresh here. Now, we've still got that. Didn't I say the icon or the text would go away? Well, it doesn't quite go away, I guess. But it doesn't look very good either. So let's get rid of the label and refresh here. And there's our icon showing. We might want to massage that icon a little bit. It could be trying to tell you, this is some sort of nuclear reaction, warning, warning, a warning. Although I'd want to go to a red color there. That looked like we were saying that that's good. But anyway, where are we? So we're down here at the icon, and up here where we made the icon, what parameters can we pass into the icon? Presumably a color. So frame.blue. And also the next one is a scale. So we'll make that perhaps 3 times as big. So the icon, you don't get a width and a height. Like backing, yes, you know what I mean. Backing, we might want to stretch these to different widths and heights. But the icons, generally, you just want to pass in a scale there. So we refresh, and there's a big blue icon, a little bit hard to see. How about a gray icon? And yeah, that's nice. Okay, and we can do a roll color on that too. If we wanted to, we could do something like icon 2 and make this light maybe. And let's see what that looks like. Is it going to be light enough? It didn't work. Oh, right. We made icon 2, but we haven't added it to the button. So copy, comma, paste, and icon 23. Icon 23. And refresh here. No, icon. Oh, icon. Roll icon. My apologies. Roll icon with a capital I. So the icon is icon, and the roll icon is icon 2. And that will work a little bit better. There's the icon. I don't know. We got a color problem. Frame dot. I wonder what it would look like if we went to the original backing color on that. That's kind of neat. Okay, we'll run with it. Now, if we wanted a bit more pizzazz on this icon, we've got something really cool. Let's drop to the ZIM Duo technique of passing in a single configuration object. Sometimes it would be nice if Atom didn't automatically close every bracket, but I'm getting used to it. So settings, that was called, well, you know what? Let's go in and see what those were called. So when we make an icon, we haven't taken a look at that, but we can easily do that. Here, there is Pizzazz 01, but we want to look at Pizzazz 02. And sorry for the wrapping here on this stuff, but here it is. Some examples, and if we scroll down, here it is. Type, color, scale, multi-alpha, multi-scale, multi-x, multi-y, skew x, skew y, and we can even add a backing to the icon. So I'm going to copy all of that stuff and come back in here to roughly this location, and we will put a new line there and comment these guys out. So we have type, color, scale. So this would be the type, colon, color, and the scale. We're almost there. Woo-hoo-hoo. Type, comma, scale, and now we want to, I don't know, make this special sort of. There is a skew. I don't think a skew is quite going to make this one special enough, but a skew, X, for instance, if we skewed it 10 in the X, would look something like this. There it is, skewed. Now I would suggest you keep your icon skewed if you're going to skew, so it's not bad, you know, you got some arrows. It's nice to skew an arrow sometimes, and it just gives it a bit of something different. But probably don't skew it on rollover. You know, you would want to do this right away on both of them. So I don't really like having it normal and then skewing to on a rollover. Just make it skewed the whole time. That's what I'm trying to say. But anyway, so that's skew. There's also this thing called multi, and I think that might look nice here. Not a bit over the top. And 10 would be over the top. That's how many copies of it is going to go out from it. So let's just try 3 for now and see what the default's like. So are you ready? We roll over. Oh, pow, pow. Well, let's bring that to, why don't we keep the same frame gray? It looked all right. Roll over and see what that would look like. Poof, pow, yeah. What would a multi of 10 look like? And there's all sorts of things you can do to the multi as well. Whoa, yeah. Whoa, here's your settings, man. Maybe a different backing would look good on that. How about drop? Yes, the drop. There's drip and drop, and I can't remember which ones are which. And we might have to make, oh, they'll be the wrong size. Well, they'll oval the drop, but whatever. Oh, yeah. What is drip again, then? Drip. You having fun? Drip. And I guess I am, aren't I? I didn't really notice much of a difference between drip and drop. Did I get those right? There is a difference, but one has a ring. You know what the difference is? One's a circle and one's an oval. So we can't tell because we're making them both ovals. So I think, yeah, that's what it is. Anyhow, oh, now that we've got just the setting thing in here, we can probably adjust that to 400. Maybe we can adjust it to a bunch of 400. So we'll leave this as a square. And let's check that out. So there it is as a square. Not bad. I think that's a little bit too much on the alphas. And now let's check out drop versus drip. Oh, it's still going to square it, isn't it? Wow. I don't know what I was thinking. I might be wrong. Let's just look at that. That's a circle with a circle around the outside, and I refresh. And yeah, I think that is. So if you don't put in any height, it'll show you the drop is an oval. I think we wasted something there. And this multi-10 is just too much. 3. You can also set things like the alpha of that and the scale of it. So how much of a change you want in the scale. So by default, we're getting that. Okay, if you wanted less, you could drop the multi-scale to, you know, 0.1 or 0.01 or whatever you need to do to make that scale even less. Isn't that cool? So there we have a button, we've got a backing, we've got icons, we saw how to change the text, we saw how to toggle our button. Anything else just before we leave? Roll toggle, there is what event we'll call that toggle, whether that's a click or a mouse down. By default it's mouse down on mobile, and I think it's a click on desktop. Roll backing, roll persist. Did we show you roll persist? That's kind of interesting. Let's take a look at roll persist. It's the very last thing here. roll persist colon true. Okay, first of all, if we oh, I don't refresh, so I'm how I was before. If I roll over this and I press down and then I roll off, it no longer persists, even though I'm still pressing down. Okay, so I have to actually be on it to get that rollover. If we have roll persist, so I just refresh now, and now I click on it and I roll off, look, it keeps my rollover. And that's handy for a slider button, for instance. If you have a slider button, I press on the slider and I'm on a track and my finger goes out. I don't want this to keep on going like that on me. I just want it to stay, hey, I'm pressing on this thing as I'm moving my slider. So that's what roll persist was added for, so that the slider button does that. You can add your own custom slider button as well. By the way, this drop looks really nice as a custom slider button. It's sort of cool. Maybe without the icon on the inside there. All right, well that's great. Super duper. I'm inventor Dan Zen. This has been a ZIM capture at zimjs.com. Perhaps the longest capture ever, but that's because buttons are so cool. Ciao.